Christopher and the Fan Friends, and welcome back to this week's episode where we are going to be doing a lot of cool and fun things. First thing we're going to do is, well, I've put this frame wall in place where it goes. I haven't nailed it down yet because we need to first install our shelf here, and our little side walls. Before we do that, however, there's something that we need to do. And that something is, we need to paint this lower part down in here, and we need to paint underneath this shelf, and we need to paint basically those parts that we're not going to be able to access very easily after we get the shelves put in. After reviewing all the color choices that we've picked for this little trailer, we went ahead and decided out of all of these colors, probably have a half a dozen here. We have whites and we have creams and we have a little bit of green. We have some kind of yellows and some scotchy green colors. But after all of the deciding and debating, we are going to go with, that's right. And with that color, we're going to go ahead and paint the underside of the shelves, and we're going to paint everything that we can't get to very easily after we get our shelves put in and our partition walls. So let's go ahead and get to the painting of the bottom of our shelves and the inside here, the back wall here. We'll get that all painted up. Oh, I didn't tell you the color yet. We are going to go with, drum roll please. That's right. We're going to go with vanilla ice cream. It's not white, it's not yellow. It's just kind of in the middle of the road. And it matches similar to what was in here before, but a little bit lighter. I think it'll be a nice, warm, cherry color for the inside of our trailer. So let's get started painting and I'll let you see the color. Now out here in our natural light, which is almost kind of a cloudy light, you can see this nice color. If you look at that, isn't that kind of pretty? I think it'll be really nice. It's not as eggy as the other one. It's not a lemon. It's just a real nice, equal vanilla color. So we're going to go ahead and paint this, which is the underside of our shelf. I'm using a roller today because it'll put a lot of paint where we want it, and it won't get the spray everywhere. What we're gonna do is end up painting pretty much every surface of this trailer. That way it'll have a nice protection inside and out. That is a nice color. And now that we have this all painted, let's go back inside and paint the inside of our little cabinet, which we're not going to be able to get to after we put this on. All right, so we've painted the underside of the shelf. It's going to go right here. It's over there drying. And now what we're going to do is paint down here on this lower back wall. That's just a lot of grit. I thought it was cleaner than that. Let's clean up this wall first, then we'll paint it. All right, you know, as I was painting that shelf out there, just looking at this color makes me want to go have a nice bowl of ice cream. That is a nice color. Now before we're done with this video, we'll have this whole back wall painted, but right now we're just doing it a phase at a time so that we can lock and screw and nail and glue all the pieces in as we move our way up. One thing I think I need to tell you is, you know, we're working with our OSHA compliant dog, Philip. And he let me know under no uncertain circumstances that I will abide to everything he tells me to do. Want to know how I know? Well, this is our hat. Our hat now has a big rip in it because, according to Philip, I didn't comply to his demand for food. So, my tip to you, always be in compliance with your OSHA, or your dog or cat. Let's continue to paint. Well, hopefully this gives you just a little bit of a taste of what color the interior of our trailer is going to be. What we'll do after this dries is we're going to go ahead and do a second coat down here in the lower cabinet, and we'll also probably do a second coat on all the other pieces. Then we're going to go ahead and we are going to install our shelves. Well, all right, as you can now see, we have our bottom area here all painted up. I went ahead and I installed our partition wall over here, and I installed our partition wall here. Now what's left to do is just take our panel right here and slide it in there and hope it fits. All right. Now in order for this thing to fit in here, we're going to have to take it through the door and slide it somewhat through this cabinet here, like this. Take it to the widest part. There we go. All right, after struggling with it for just a few minutes, we got this nice shelf all placed in here. I've glued and I've tacked it in place, and we're using these clamps just to hold it down while the glue dries. Okay, the next two pieces we need to do is to install this little bracket that goes back here, this longer piece which is going to go back here to support this second shelf. Wow, can I tell you, this was a real challenge. For you, it's probably only been a minute or two, but for me, it's been about 3 or 4 hours trying to get this frame and the bottom shelf and this top shelf and this partition wall and this little wall here to all match up and jive well together with the curved back wall. But I think we finally have it. At least I'm going to call it good because, well, it's a lot of time to spend on a few little shelves, but they look awesome. I'm really, really excited about them. So what we're going to do now is we just need to drill some holes from this partition wall into this shelf, and then from bottom underneath here up into the partition wall. And basically we're going to we're going to glue and screw it all together now so that it'll be one nice solid unit. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm going to find the center of this here shelf to put on our wall here and how we're going to screw it together. We know that this is where we want our partition wall. So I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark the top of it there. I'm going to mark the bottom. Then we're going to take it out. And as you can see here, I have these lines. Now all I need to do is drill a hole 1, 2, and 3 right through the center of it, and that'll put my holes right through the center of my shelf. Okay, we've drilled our 3 holes here. Let's go ahead and install it in our cabinet. Here it is. We have our frame installed, we have our partitions, there are 2 shelves, and I think it actually looks quite good. We have just a couple of L brackets we need to add to the bottom of the frame to attach it to the floor, and a couple up here which will be hidden behind here. But other than that, this shelving unit is installed and it is ready to have our doors installed on it. But we're going to go ahead and paint these doors separately. We're going to paint them with a sprayer, and we need to wait for a nice day for that. It's been a little rainy lately. So we're going to continue to move on this build, and we're glad that you're here to participate with us in the rebuilding and reconstructing of this little trailer. All right, Fern the Fan friends, we have been spending a little extra time adding trim work. I added a piece of trim along this front edge here. I added a piece of trim here. I added the trim here that separates our roof and our wall that used to have that seam between it. So I add a little piece of wood trim there. I'll bring you on in here. Here on the floor, I added these metal brackets here that holds our side partition in. This one here holds our front face frame. And then on our side walls there, I went ahead and I screwed from the outside into that frame, there, and there, and on down. So this front frame wall is very secured, and it's not going anywhere. What do we need to do next? Well, next I'm going to clean it up a little bit with our slightly damp rag, get all the sawdust and stuff off. I'm going to fill these little holes along our trim. And then I'm going to paint the entire thing and have it ready for the next phase on this wall, which will be the doors. I'm not going to get to the doors in this particular video, but I want to have this all painted and ready for the doors so we can move on to our back partition wall. If it seems like we've spent a lot of time on this front framed wall and shelves, you're right. We have spent a lot of time, a little more time than I thought it would happen on this particular part of the camper. But I think it turned out really good. We have our curves all nice and formed to our ceiling. We're going to have some nice storage, and I think it's been a great addition to the camper.